On the floor.
Yes, but I want us to move out of that
but why?
That you're reading because of time. If you want to continue with this discussion about the Deputy President's position, probably I will allow you to continue.
Exactly. The NADCO report, which is one of the 10-point agenda, which they are lying to us they want to implement, was talking about creating positions of a of a prime cabinet secretary, as though that's a very important position to Kenyans who are hungry and going through a lot of problems, including not being able to take their children to school. And one of the 10-point agenda they keep telling us about is the NADCO report, which they want to implement. And then they are lying to Kithure Kindiki that your position is safe. And he's there, he's a professor of law. Why are you lying to a professor of law that your position is safe? And one of the things we are pushing in the 10-point agenda, in fact, number one, is NADCO, to create a very powerful prime minister. Then what does it do? It dilutes his position. And watu wa Meru wako hapo wana club state house. You know, sometimes being a professor does not necessarily confer upon you a lot of wisdom, confers upon you the education you've been through. Because then why is he in State House and clapping with people who are telling him they want to implement NADCO, whose main proposal is to create a prime minister who is even stronger than himself? So from where I sit, if they were not threatened by the united opposition, they would not be doing the things they are doing. Hata hii mkutano unaona wakifanya State House. They're having a State House meeting to bring their troops together. Why? Because they know if you place the UDA ticket right now here to a candidate in Mount Kenya and the DCP ticket and the Jubilee ticket, you will see a scramble for the DCP ticket. The UDA ticket, I don't know. Who wants it? Yeah, who wants it? What for?
The president is meeting 9,000 UDA aspirants at State House today, but even away from that, there's a lot of concern ahead, and you can see the groupings that are trooping to State House. There's real concern about this coalition building with ODM and the space that will be left for those people who've been within Kenya Kwanza and supporting William Ruto.
That's true, and it is expected right from the time, this working arrangement, let me just call it working arrangement, under the BBG, between UDA and ODM. It is expected naturally that the people who support Professor Kithure Kindiki, we are not going to sit pretty and just make some assumptions that they are comfortable. But then we need to look at our politics and remind ourselves that in as much as our politics involve a lot of emotions, and ethnicity is key when it comes to that, it is not just the people of Meru who are concerned. I think the entire Mount Kenya region would be concerned if that position does not come back to Kithure Kindiki. But this is how I see it. President William Ruto does not seem to have a problem with Professor Kithure Kindiki. Why? Because they have some chemistry, which is not even political to me. Yeah. Even before Professor Kithure Kindiki became the deputy president, who was he to President William Ruto? He was his lawyer, including at the ICC and so many other things that they have done together. He seems comfortable, himself. In fact, at times I look at him and realize that even if the president asked him to step aside, he would honorably do that without drama. It is not a 50-50 power sharing arrangement that existed between the president and Rigathi Gachagua. So really there would not be, I don't expect there to be animosity in case that status is changed. Now, on whether the people of ODM are genuine, when they tell Professor Kithure Kindiki that hatukuji kiti yako, I don't think so. Because, the governor of Homa Bay, Gladys Wanga, she's really going for it. And I think she's coming from a point of confidence. You remember last year, the president said that Kenya is ripe for a female deputy president. And very many people started pointing fingers at Wanga. So again, this is an issue that can divide ODM even further, because the party leader Oburu is saying, we are not coming for your seat. But I think the women in ODM, including my friend Erachi, they don't mind. Yeah. They've seen an opportunity for women, not just for the party. Okay. Now, but then, going by what William Ruto experienced with Rigathi Gachagua, I think he may want to keep Kindiki. he may want a cool,
a safer bet.
You know, it's a safer bet. Because Gladys Wanga, just like Rigathi Gachagua, is really pushy. So maybe...
Okay. But Agakwe, what's your take on that? Do you feel that this is something that would play into the hands of the united opposition, the selection of a running mate, or failure by William Ruto to go with Professor Kindiki?
Either way, I would assure you that Kindiki will tilt very little. He will tilt. Who is more stronger? Who holds more firm and the stronger position? Is it when Uhuru Kenyatta was the head of state, or is it Kindiki as a deputy president? Who holds the bigger position to convince Mountain? Remember, Uhuru came from where population is like freeze here in Kiambu. That is where the population started electorate over 1 million. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you, he was not even able to convince his homeland. And therefore, I would assure you, whether Kindiki is retained or not, it is not to change the mountain to its destiny. Okay. Number two, the arrangement and the alignment of political coalitions. I think William has every business to deal with where he thinks that he can cut cake. And for sure, he better bet with the Lake region. Uh-huh. That's okay. But then he must be very ready to get a slice, not a whole cake, right, in that Luanyaza. As much as the young Turks are not in his base, let me tell you, he still feels the dust. Right. And this is for sure. And finally, Wanga and Omburu, at the tail end, I tended to buy the statements made by my panelists that there can be another more split at the tail end. There's no way that Omburu can speak for Wanga. Wanga, yesterday we have seen demonstration, people from backyard who are saying it is life for the deputy president. Mm-hmm. And therefore, it is not a deal, already a done deal. Okay. And therefore, negotiations are not yet complete. Yes. And I still believe that Wanga will demand for it. Yes. And if Buru is going to block it, then can the others start another break? Yes. Can we really afford to ignore the sentiments of the chairperson of the party, Gladys Wanga, about 50-50 power sharing?
No, but there are many ways of the 50-50 power sharing.
Without the position in the presidency?
Let me say this, Ndimoli. You know, first I want to thank everyone, Afanya Mambo, for believing in ODM that we are supposed to be dealing with all these institutions he's speaking. I didn't know he trusts us that much. But I want to tell him these institutions must work. Senate must work to ensure if there's a governor who has something in Parklands, they deal with it, not just Parklands. They should go back to the first Senate governors who have left. They have so many properties here. I see cows dying here. I'm wondering, people came out with all the money from Mandera, from Turkana. They are just roaming here in town. Some of them are even at State House. Deal with them. They did wrong. But then having said that, now let me come to ODM. You see, one of the things I respect about ODM is that while Wanga will speak as the chair, in the end she will respect what the party has said, not her. She will respect that. And if the party leader says that, it means if I was ODM, if I was me, to be asked, what we should be fighting for as ODM is to make sure you have numbers in parliament. Your numbers. Retain your numbers. ODM, we must retain our numbers. That should be the agenda of 2027. These other things will come to fall in place when you have numbers. Mm-hmm. But if you don't have numbers, it will not fall in place. So the first thing we should be protecting, in fact, my 50-50 with the president should be any region that was of ODM, then we don't want to see a UDA candidate here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's as simple as that.
That issue of zoning is also a problem.
It's not a problem. It is one of the things. In fact, leave the rest but begin on that one.
Well, how will you conduct Nairobi then if you...
No, Nairobi, we will conduct with... See, we have DCP coming. See, we will deal with it.
Whose region would Nairobi be? Between ODM and UDA?
ODM.
So UDA stays out of Nairobi?
Oh, yes.
Completely?
Oh, yes.
Not even for the governor's position.
Well, that's why I'm saying those negotiations will come. If it is one, and we support the one, not you have this one there and this one here fighting. No. We will lose these seats. So if you want a UDA, fine. But a one, if we are in that coalition, should be one candidate who all of us will support. So we shall come and look at the numbers and ask ourselves, is this the numbers that should be the negotiations that we should have?
I'm telling you, I think this promises to be another discussion altogether. But
no,
we still.
And I'm telling ODM the truth.
Yes.
These things of fighting of 2027, forget.
Yeah.
The critical agenda is, are you on the table to push your people to the new dawn of Kenya of 2032?
All right.
That should be our thinking.
Away from
2032, where you are starting the country as 1963. Is these communities going to be on the table, or they will be in a 1963 agenda where we started zero and now we are fighting when we are 50 years plus?
And I can see everyone wants to respond to that, but unfortunately we don't have time because we asked the people a question about.
For me, that is the main agenda.
Whether or not you can re-elect.
But we shall ensure NADCO.
Yes.
Panyamambo. We shall ensure.
Thank you.
Whether Baba said we shall have a prime minister, let us have.
That.
You never know, it can come to save you also.
We asked a question, ladies and gentlemen, we asked you a question online, whether or not you will re-elect your member of parliament. Will you re-elect your